Hi guys, it's Ashraf from WiZ.edu, and today we're going to be going through the solution of Lockdown Challenge 4. If you haven't done so already, please try out the question. The link to the question for our Instagram page is in the description below. So just again, a warning that all the questions we give aren't to be taken seriously and they're purely hypothetical, and you guys should stay at home and keep safe. So the question here is quite a relevant one. We're told that Imran has a student loan, and because of the COVID-19 outbreak, is unable to pay back his 115th, 116th, and 117th installments. But during this period where he won't be paying back his loan, he'll still be earning interest on his loan, but at a lower rate, 6.5% instead of 13%. But after the 117th installment he misses, he still wants to pay back the loan in the same amount of time as if he'd been paying his 3,125 each month. So what we have to do is calculate the new installment on his loan, which is going to be higher than 3,125, which he'll start paying from the 118th month onwards. So our first step is going to be to determine the number of installments or the number of months it would take him to pay off the loan, disregarding the fact that he would miss the 3 payments. So we'd use our present value formula to do that, which is P equals x into 1 minus 1 plus I to the negative n all over I. So we know the present value of his loan at the beginning is 250,000, and that's going to be equal to 3125 into 1 minus 1 plus 13% over 12. It's 13% over 12 because we know it's compounded monthly, and that's going to be negative n. N is what we're solving for, and it's our unknown here. So we don't know that. That's going to be all over 13% over 12. So we can simplify this by multiplying the left-hand side by 13% over 12 and dividing it by 3125. So that's going to give us 250,000 times 13% over 12, all divided by 3125. That equals 1 minus 1 plus 13% over 12 to the negative n, right? So you can punch that into your calculator and simplify, and that's going to give you 13 over 15, which is equal to 1 minus 1 plus 13% over 12 to the negative n. So I've just moved it up here so we have a bit more space, and we can subtract 1 from this side here, and that gives us negative 1 plus 13% over 12 to the negative n. And I'm going to subtract the 1 and multiply both sides by negative 1 to get rid of this negative here. So that finally becomes 2 over 15 equals 1 plus 13% over 12 to the negative n. And now we're solving for n, but it's in our exponent. So we're going to have to make use of our log laws to solve for n. So negative n is going to be equal to log, and base is 1 plus 13% over 12, because over here, the 1 plus 13% over 12 is our base, and n is the exponent. So when you're using log, that your base remains the base, and this here is going to be the left-hand side, which is 2 over 15. So negative n is going to equal 186.9966, so on, and that's negative. So we times both sides by negative to make that positive 186.99, so on, and that's approximately 187 repayments or months of the loan. So now that we know this, we can go on to solve the rest of the question. So we have 187 repayments. Now our next step is going to be to calculate the value of the loan outstanding after the 114th repayment, because our repayments stop at 115, 116, and 117. So we need to know the value at the end of the 114th payment, so we can add interest during this period when repayments will not be made. So there's two methods you can actually go about doing this. I'm going to show you both methods. The first one is using the present value formula, which is P equals X into 1 minus 1 plus I to the negative N all over I. And this allows you to go straight to the answer. And it's the method I prefer. So our X in this case is 3125. Our present value is unknown because we don't know the present value after the 114th repayment. And that's going to be 1 minus 1 plus 13% over 12 to the negative. Now here's where the issue comes in. With N, if using the present value formula to calculate the value outstanding on the loan, you have to remember that the N value you're going to use is going to be the number of installments or months left over that haven't been paid. So it's not it won't be 114. That would be incorrect if you put that there. It's going to be the number left over. So you have to say 186.9966 and use that whole figure we calculated, the full figure, and subtract that by 114 to get the number of months outstanding on the loan. So that's how you calculate N. That's why some people don't like to use this method and prefer to rather use the next method, which I'll show you in a short while. That's going to be 13% over 12. And if you punch that into your calculator, it's going to give you 157,091 Rand and 63 cents approximately. So I'll just go ahead and write this number here so we can see that it's the same when we try the next method. Now our next method we could use to calculate this very same answer would be to use this formula here, P into 1 plus I to the N, where this little bit here is going to represent the amount of interest our loan accrues up until the 115th repayment, or up till the time needed to pay that installment. And that's going to be subtracted from a future value formula. So in this case, we're using our future value instead of our present value formula. And our future value formula here is going to represent the interest that your repayments accrue. So every time you deposit or pay off part of your loan, your repayment actually accrues interest along with the loan. So that's going to be 250,000 into 1 plus 13% over 12. And now we can use 114 because we're using the future value formula, and we're finding out how much the loan, how much interest it accrues after 114 months. That's going to be minus 3125 into 1 plus 13% over 12 to the power 114 minus 1. That's all over 13% over 12. And you can punch this in your calculator and you'll get exactly the same answer we got earlier. So you can see there are two methods to arrive at the outstanding balance of the loan. And this is something you should try to remember, especially if you want to check your answers in an exam. So our answer here was 157,091.63. So our next step is going to be to calculate the interest or the value of the loan after the 117th installment, or when the 117th installment was supposed to be paid. So we can use our formula A equals P into 1 plus I to the power n to calculate this. And that's going to be 157,091.63 into 1 plus. In this case, our interest rate is 6.5% because we are told that they've given a break or reduction or a discount, if you like, during these 3 months. And our n is 3 because we're missing 3 installments here. If you punch that into your calculator, you're going to get the answer of 159,658.22. So that's the value of the loan after 117 months. So now we go on to the final bit of our question, which is going to be to calculate the new installment on the loan in order to pay it off in the same time period or the same number of months. So we can use our present value formula to calculate this. That's 1 plus I to the negative n all over I. And now our present value is the answer that we calculated, that we used our two methods to calculate. X is our unknown because it's our new installment. That's going to be 1 minus 1 plus. Now our interest rate is back up to 13%. And n in this case, n is going to equal 187 minus 117, which is 70. It's the remaining number of months that we have to repay the loan in order for it to be the same time period. And that's all going to be over our interest rate of 13% over 12. So we can say that x will equal to this side here divided by everything else on the right hand side. So you're going to divide 159,658.22 by this entire bit here to calculate x. Punch that into your calculator and you get a new repayment of 3,265 Rand and 68 cents. So that's going to be the new repayment. And so we've solved the question, and you can see that our answer does look kind of right because it's greater than the original repayment, which was 3,125 Rand. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to look out for our next challenge and watch the rest of our videos.